Given the breaking news tonight, sir, I feel like I need to ask you about something that I feel like we can sort of see looming on the horizon. And we are starting to see very far-right, Trump-supporting members of the other party, of the Republican Party, talk about things like going after the Justice Department, going after the FBI, defunding or getting rid of the Justice Department, getting rid of the FBI. We're seeing high-profile, ambitious Republican governors go after individual prosecutors for not wanting to prosecute things the way that the governors want them prosecuted in their states. With the FBI raiding the president's house today at Maralago, and I know you don't want to talk about that in substance, right. It seems clear, I think it seems obvious to both of us, that we're about to enter into a new and more intense era of the Republicans and the Trump-supporting Republicans really waging war on law enforcement, and especially on the idea of federal law enforcement. And I wonder if you've been thinking strategically about that, about defending those institutions, defending that part of the executive branch that enforces federal law against the sort of politicized attacks that are coming their way.
Yeah, look, what's happened, and you've put it well, Rachel, is a large chunk of the Republicans, not all of them, but a large chunk have become what I call MAGA Republicans, Trump Republicans, with little respect for rule of law, with little respect for the balance of power of institutions, frankly, with little respect for truth itself. I mean, when a third of all people and a majority of Republicans now believe that the election was stolen when there's no evidence to that effect, that's proof of that. The good news on that front is it's hurting them. In just speaking in terms of preventing them from getting power in the House and increasing, or in the Senate and in the House, the numbers in all of our elections is looking very, very good with both our incumbents and our challengers. And that is, I think, because the American people are smelling that this Republican Party, the MAGA Republican Party, is not the old Republican Party, which may have been conservative, may have been pro-business, may have not been very good on climate issues, but at least had some respect for democracy and rule of law. I think they're going to pay a price for this in the election, and I think Democrats should use it as an issue, that the rule of law, the protection of democracy is a key issue here, and we better watch out if we give Republicans power in either the House or the Senate. And I think that's going to be successful, along with the issues we're talking about, the accomplishments that we were talking about on climate and on drugs and on closing loopholes and on job creation. You know, we're going to go back. I mean, this is one smaller thing. It's not exactly on your topic. They blocked a $35 price for insulin for non-Medicare people. We're going to come back and make them vote on that again. When they get taken over by the extremes, whether on issues of democracy or issues of making people's lives better and reducing their costs, they're going to lose out. I still have faith that if we are vigilant, if we persist, if we don't give up or throw up our hands, it's going to backfire on them. And I believe it will.
Here to react is Fox News contributor and former Democrat Leo Terrell. Leo, what do you make of their reaction?
Premature, and I'll get news for you. This obsession, Ainsley, to prevent President Trump from running for re-election is overwhelming by the Democrats. They are afraid of this man. They are trying to tell American public, hey, we're going to tell you who you can vote for. They do not want Trump to run for office. Here's the most important point. As a lawyer, I can't wait to see not just that warrant. I want to read the officer who supplied the declaration to submit that warrant to the judge, because I want to see what are the facts. The political left has one obsession, Ainsley, not to allow President Trump to run for office, to deny the American public the right to choose the 47th president. And I think that's wrong.
Leo, how does this end? What happens next?
I'll tell you exactly. Let me thank you for that question. What's going to happen is show us the evidence. What is the motivation why they had to raid the president's house in lieu of a subpoena, Ainsley? I've been a lawyer for 30-some odd years. The question here is, what's the end game? The progressive left wants to block Trump from running for office. That's not going to happen. He's going to run. I'm sorry, Democrats, you're celebrating too early. But the key here is this. This is going to damage the political system. It has basically created a banana republic mentality. The party in power wants to prevent the opposition those people who want President Trump from running for office. And I guarantee you, he is going to run. That's the bottom line.
So Alan Dershowitz last night said that the DOJ was violating their own rules, the rules of the DOJ, by not subpoenaing him and then just going in for this search warrant. You're a lawyer. Do you believe that? And does Trump have a case here if that's true?
Yeah, yes. I mean, my goodness, last night I was dreaming to be the FBI director and the attorney general, because I got news for you. Those people need to be kept in check. What has to happen now is the basis for that warrant. And let me be very clear. People say it was stamped by or approved by a judge. A lot of judges rubber stamp warrants because they believe in the evidence presented to them. So I honestly believe that it's going to be proven. Why was this necessary? Why was it something that was going to have to take place yesterday? Because it wasn't proper. Trump was in New York.
Leo, thank you so much for coming on with us.
Thank you, Ainsley. Thanks for having me.
Always good to see you.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.
And Joseph Marino joins us now for more on this. He's a former federal prosecutor. Joseph, welcome. Great to have you with us. So what does it tell us that the FBI took the extraordinary step of searching the former president's home for this classified material? Why couldn't they simply subpoena those documents?
You know, extraordinary is exactly the right word. This is unprecedented in American history to do something like this, so aggressive, knowing how politically charged it was and yet going ahead anyway. The Justice Department must have either been negotiating with the former president and those negotiations broke down and they felt there was no other way to get them than by force, or they were afraid that evidence would be destroyed and that they had to go in because it was exigent. So either way, it's a big deal for the FBI to take this step. And it would have had to have been blessed at the highest levels of the FBI and the Justice Department, probably by the Attorney General himself.
Well, Joseph, as you know, back in February, the National Archives said that it obtained 15 boxes of records from Maralago that should have been transferred when the former president left office. So why would investigators need to go back several months later?
Probably because the archives were not satisfied with what they received, right? I mean, there were reports that up to 50 boxes were taken by President Trump. And keep in mind, the chaos that was ensuing in the final days and weeks of the Trump administration. Presidents can declassify information themselves, but they have to be in office to do it. If they take classified information with them and it hasn't properly been declassified at the right time, well, guess what? They're now in violation of the criminal law. You can't have classified information, and it's in violation just like any American who had information like that wasn't being handled properly.
So, Joseph, of course, details of this search we still don't know, but based on what we know so far, does it look like criminal charges may be coming?
Well, there has to be a criminal predicate in order to get a search warrant. So you wouldn't take this step. And like you said earlier, I mean, this could have been negotiated. It could have been done through a subpoena, and yet it was done through a criminal search warrant, right? A raid, basically, on a former president's home. So I don't want to jump the gun and say criminal charges are coming, but you have to have a criminal predicate in order to get a search warrant, right? An FBI agent drafted an affidavit saying there's evidence of criminality located in a specific place, namely the former president's residence. And a federal magistrate or a district judge agreed and said, yes, there is probable cause to show that. So that's not proof beyond a reasonable doubt. That's not even an indicator that a criminal case will come. But it's certainly a very, very significant development that criminal charges are at least being contemplated and are the basis for this unprecedented action by the FBI.
Wow.
We'll continue to follow it closely. Joseph Marino. Joseph, thank you for your insight and analysis. We appreciate it.
Happy to be with you.
Taiwan's military has carried out a live fire drill lasting an hour. The drill simulated how Taiwan would defend itself against a Chinese attack. It comes as China extends its largest ever military exercises around the self-governing island, which were scheduled to end on Monday. Instead, they're going on for another day. Now, Beijing's series of air and sea exercises over this past week is in response to a visit by the US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, the highest-ranking US official to visit Taipei in 25 years. I've been discussing these latest tensions with our security correspondent, Frank Gardner.
Taiwan's military response has been absolutely minuscule compared to the huge-scale exercises that China has been conducting. These are the largest ever military maneuvers that China has done. Remember, China hasn't fought a war for a very long time when it effectively got beaten by Vietnam some time ago, decades ago. But it has, in the last few years, built up its military to such an extent that it is considered to be an overt threat to Taiwan, which it considers to be part of its own territory. So what China has been doing, as in the People's Liberation Army, the PLA, their military forces, they've been conducting the full range of combined arms, anti-submarine, ballistic missiles, aircraft, surface ships. They've been practicing beach landings, things like that. Taiwan's response is just 1 hour of firing howitzer artillery from a tiny place called Pingtung down in the south of the island. It's a tiny gesture, really. But I think almost more significant are the words of Joseph Wu, Taiwan's de facto foreign minister, who has voiced his concern that these Chinese military drills are going to become normalized with the intention of essentially strangling Taiwan. Because look, Taiwan doesn't want to have to invade Taiwan. It vowed to retake what it calls a renegade province. Taiwan considers itself a separate state. China doesn't. But to invade it would take up to 2 million men, and it would be hugely costly in human lives, in global reputation, in money, and so on. So China would much rather bring Taiwan back voluntarily, as it were. But these exercises they're doing are simply pushing Taiwan further and further away from China. The Taiwanese do not want to belong to China. They don't want to be ruled by Beijing.
It's so interesting. Of course, this was sparked, as I mentioned, Frank, by the visit of US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. And I'm wondering, just looking at it in a larger context, why do you think she may have visited now?
Well, there are some commentators, Nuala, who are saying that this visit by Nancy Pelosi was crassly irresponsible because it has upset the apple cart. There is a kind of strategic ambiguity over Taiwan, where the US officially says that it abides by the one China policy. In other words, that there is only one Chinese government, and that's in Beijing. But the US also promises to defend Taiwan if it's attacked. And the one thing the red line for China is if Taiwan declares independence. It hasn't done that. Although it's a democratically elected government, it has its own 300,000 strong army. But the visit of such a high-level visitor from the US has really provoked the Chinese, and I think it's basically brought matters to a bit of a head. And this isn't going to, in the long run, I think, do Taiwan any favors.
Thanks so much, Frank Gardner there.